Bronnie Ware is an Australian palliative care nurse, spent many years looking after patients who are on their deathbed. Over time, she started to realise that she was having the same conversations with these people. They all had regrets, they all had things they look back on in their lives that they wish they could change. And what she started to notice is that 5 regrets kept popping up again and again. In this video, I want to talk about what these regrets are and hopefully take some pearls of wisdom that we can apply to our own lives and maybe change our own perspective so that we don't end up having the same regrets when our time is up. Watch this video to learn more. So now I'm going to run through the 5 regrets that these patients had. So the first regret is, I wish I'd lived a life true to myself rather than what others expected of me. One story that's used to illustrate this regret is about a woman named Grace. She was unhappily married for many years, and then finally when her husband actually moved out and into a care home and she thought she could pursue her dreams finally, she thought that she was free to pursue what she's always wanted to do, she was then diagnosed with a terminal illness. So she put her dreams on hold for all this time, and then she wasn't able to follow through. And stories like this kept coming up again and again. Things like, go on love, just follow your heart, just do what you want to do, don't listen to other people, live your life the way you want to live it. Stuff like that just kept coming up from these conversations. But the real question is this: why would we ever live our lives by the terms that somebody else dictates? You see, we have this all too common problem of placing way too much emphasis on what other people think we should be doing, on satisfying other people, on making sure other people are happy and not disappointed by us. We only get one shot at this, and it really doesn't make sense to place such high emphasis on what other people want while pushing down what we want. Have you actually taken the time to sit back and think and fantasize about what you want your life to be about? What you actually want to do with your life? You see, many of us are so caught up in this day-to-day rigmarole, hassle and everyday busy lives that we don't take the time to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Don't stick in that relationship that's dragging you down just because you think you're going to disappoint other people. Don't stay in that career that you don't want to do because other people expect you to do it, or you think you're going to let down people if you move to another career. Listen, do what you feel is right, regardless of what other people tell you to do. So the takeaway from this point is, be the CEO of your life. You're in charge here. You get to control and you get to do what you want with your time on this planet. The second regret is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. With this regret, there was story after story of people who had just been working their asses off in their job, and then they realized that it was all for nothing. Many times they were working in jobs that didn't really mean anything to them. And also they were just working so hard that it was to the detriment of other things in their life. They realized they missed the actual important things, the things they really wanted to get out of life. They missed because they were too busy working hard. Working hard in itself is a virtue. It's a good thing to have. It's a good trait. And there's nothing wrong with working hard. But have you actually taken time to question what you're working hard for? Some of us are so focused on our goals, our objectives, and our things that we want to do and achieve that we kind of miss the purpose of doing this in the first place. The dad that's trying to get that deal in the company and then misses his son's baseball game. Another example of this is one of my friends who is an amazing singer. She's living in Japan, but she's working for a company that demands such long hours from her that even though she has this amazing passion and she has this amazing ability, she can't even pursue it. She doesn't even have the time to pursue the passion that she's loved. My question to anybody who's stuck in this situation is, what is the point? And are you working for the right reasons? Are you working for those things? Or is your work just to the detriment of everything else? The critical point is that hard work to the detriment of other areas of your life, important areas, things that mean a lot to you, is not a success. So my key takeaway from this is, working hard is great, is a great virtue to have. But have you considered why you're working in the first place? Don't lose sight of the bigger picture and keep your life in balance. The third regret was this: I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Having a conflict between what you believe and what you're actually doing causes stress, it causes anxiety, but you're also undermining your own self-worth. You're basically saying that what you believe is not worthy of action, and you're not going to stand up for what you believe in because other people's opinions, what other people think, what other people are doing is more important. It's more important to keep the peace than to stand up for your own beliefs. You've got to give yourself more respect. You've got to give yourself more importance than that. You are worth more than that. If you have a strong belief about something, if you have an opinion, if you have something that you believe you need to get out there, then don't suppress it. Go ahead with it. Push it out there. You're worth it. So my takeaway from this point is to stand up and be counted. Only when you have congruence between your thoughts, your words, and your actions are you presenting your true self, the self that is true to you. And only then can you be happy, can have high self-esteem, and live a full life without regrets. Regret number 4 is, I wish I stayed in touch with my friends. A common theme was that as these people grew older and they grew lonelier, they realized that they wanted to reignite friendships from the past, but it was too late for them to trace them down. Because of this, they felt lonely, they felt isolated, and in many cases, they ended up depressed and on their own. The thing is, psychologists again and again are showing that close friendships are vital to our quality of life. Here's 2 really powerful quotes that illustrate this. Quote number 1. The very happy people spent the least amount of time alone and the most amount of socializing, and they were rated highest on good relationships by themselves and by their friends. This is a quote from Authentic Happiness about a study that was done linking happiness to having friendships. Quote number 2 is this: we are ultra-social creatures and we can't be happy without having friends and secure attachments to other people. This is a quote from a book called Happiness Hypothesis. The thing is, age can be isolating. We need to have foresight. As you get older, as you retire, as you lose people around you that you love, as you lose your health, as you don't have any work, you have lots of free time, it can be very, very isolating. Having people that you can turn to, that you can talk to, that you can socialize with is a great buffer against depression, sadness, and loss. And staying socially engaged as you get older keeps you feeling positive and boosts your happiness. The key takeaway from this is to invest in relationships for the long term. Keep in touch with people and build deep connections with them. Regret number 5 is this: I wish I had let myself be happier. This regret is all about letting fear getting the better of you. You have things you want to do, you have things you want to achieve, you have goals in your life that you don't pursue because you don't have the courage to go for them. What increasingly came up in these discussions with these patients that were dying is that this illusion of fear that they had when they're younger had completely disappeared at the point where they're lying on their deathbed. And the only thing that was left is that of regret, that they wished that they had the courage to go ahead and do what they wanted to do. My main takeaway from this is that you regret what you didn't do rather than what you did, and you should have that courage to go after what you want to go after. So here's a quick recap of the words of wisdom that these patients have left us with. Number 1, live a life true to yourself. Number 2, balance your work with other experiences in life. Number 3, have the courage to express your feelings. Number 4, build and invest in high quality relationships that we keep for life. Number 5, have the courage to overcome your fears to pursue things that will make you happy. Notice how a lot of these rules, a lot of these regrets are to do with not having enough courage to go after what they wanted to go after. So coming to fear, not having enough courage to go after what you want to go after, in the short term serves you well, because you're not in any discomfort. You don't have to go outside your comfort zone. It's easy, it's comfortable. You can just carry on plodding along, and there's no worry, there's no emotional labor to go through there. But in the long term, you'll regret it. I feel like the underlying lesson from all of these regrets is that we need to be more courageous, and we just need to go ahead. And even though we feel slightly fearful, even though it's going to be outside our comfort zone, we don't know how it's going to go, we're a bit scared, we just got to push through and make it happen anyway. Because otherwise, we're going to be sat here on our deathbeds, and we're going to be regretting the things that we didn't do. Okay, so here's my final thoughts about this. By the time these people have realized their mistakes, their regrets have come to the surface, it was too late for them. They were at the end of their road, but for you and I, we're not. We're still forging our path. We still have this amazing opportunity that they didn't have. Let's not waste the words of wisdom of these dying patients. Let's put these words into action and live a life that's more courageous and more true to ourselves.